In a kingdom of keyboards and code, there lived a curious coder. Now this coder could follow any enchanted tutorial, building the most magnificent things step by step. But they harbored a deep, deep fear of the great blank screen.
You know, that guided path feels so safe, doesn't it? It's predictable. But the blank page? Well, that feels like a void. Does this tale of two paths sound familiar to you? If it does, you're definitely not alone. This is a story so many of us have lived through.
So, unable to start their own adventure, our coders found themselves just wandering. They had stumbled into the labyrinth of signs, a really confusing maze where it felt like they were making progress, but the exit was absolutely nowhere in sight.
Okay, let's talk about what this place actually is. We call this labyrinth tutorial hell, and it's a trap, but it's built on something sneaky, the illusion of learning. See, when you're following along, it feels like progress, but what you're really doing is recognizing concepts, not recalling them. You see something and go, oh yeah, I know that, but you can't quite pull it out of thin air to build on your own.
The very first sign our coder noticed was a strange, shimmering weight on their hands.
And this is that first big sign. You feel like you literally cannot write a single line of code without a tutorial right there guiding you. It's like your hands are cuffed to the instructors. You're not really in control.
As they went deeper into the maze, they started to find a strangely repetitive landscape. We call this the forest of identical trees. Sound familiar? It's when you've built the same to-do list app 10 times, just following 10 different guides. You get really, really good at building that one thing, but you never stray from that well-worn path to create something that's actually your own.
The path ahead then suddenly split into 1,000 different tempting little trails.
Ah, yes, tutorial hopping. You know this one. You jump from one shiny new course to the next, absolutely convinced that the real secret, the real magic, is in the next one. The problem is, this just keeps you from ever truly mastering the skills you learned in the last one.
And there, guarding the only visible exit from the maze, lay a huge, fearsome, sleeping beast.
And this is the real heart of the fear, isn't it? The mere thought of opening up a blank file to start your own project fills you with this paralysis. It's so much easier, so much safer to just retreat back to the comfort of another tutorial than it is to face that dragon.
As our coder wandered on, they noticed their bag had grown impossibly, unbelievably heavy.
Ooh, this one hits close to home for so many of us. You have this massive collection of bookmarked courses, saved videos, right? A whole treasure hoard of knowledge that you never actually get around to using. It just sits there, getting heavier.
Finally, the coder stopped by a steel pond to rest and was completely startled by what they saw in their reflection.
And honestly, this is the most painful sign of all. Despite finishing dozens of courses, you look at your reflection and you just feel like a fraud. You can't bring yourself to say, I am a developer, because deep down, you don't feel like you could prove it without a guide.
But just as our coder felt truly and completely lost, a wise mentor appeared. They unrolled a weathered piece of parchment, and this wasn't another tutorial. It was a map to freedom.
You see, the way out isn't about learning more stuff. It's about learning differently. We have to switch our brains from just passively consuming information to actively recalling and using it. So, let's walk through these 3 paths to freedom.
Okay, first up, modify the spell. After you finish a tutorial, do not just move on. Intentionally break the code. Change a feature, add something new, anything. This forces you to really understand why it worked in the first place, and that's how you make that knowledge your own.
Second, you're going to build a tiny hut. Your goal here is to build something, anything, that you can finish in just a couple of days. The confidence boost you get from finishing a small, complete project, that's the momentum you need to start tackling bigger and bigger things. And third, hunt for a problem. Instead of learning a tool just for the sake of learning it, find a small problem in your own life that you want to solve. Let the questions that come up from trying to solve that problem guide what you learn. I promise, the knowledge sticks so much better when it has a real purpose.
With a map clutched in hand, our coder finally turned to face the path of their own creation. But the path wasn't smooth, oh no. It was blocked by a high, unscalable wall of angry red error messages.
Look, every single developer, from the brand new junior to the most senior engineer, hits the wall. It's that moment where you are hopelessly stuck, your code is broken, and you feel that overwhelming urge to just quit. I need you to hear this. This is not failure. This is the job.
So the key is to have a system. Think of this as your debugging compass, a totally zero-shame process for when you get stuck. Seriously, mastering this process, learning how to methodically get yourself unstuck, is the single most important skill you will ever develop as a programmer. It's the real work.
And by learning to solve problems, not just follow instructions, our coder was transformed. They were no longer just a follower of recipes, but a true creator of their own magic.
And in doing so, they learned the ultimate secret. The goal was never to memorize everything. It was to learn how to find answers, how to piece together solutions. The blank page wasn't a threat, it was an invitation to create something new.
The Coder's storybook is now open to a brand new chapter, one they are going to write all by themselves, and so is yours. The question is no longer what tutorial will I watch next, but what will I create?